in favor? No, sorry. Who wants to move to approve the agenda? Maureen, thank you. Second? I will. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, says Jody.
All opposed? Okay. Adoption of the minutes. Does anybody have any comments about the minutes from the March 6th meeting? Boy, it's been a while, eh? No, okay.
That's what I thought. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, we've sort of been busy with the whole plan, so it's been a while. Okay, anybody move to adopt the minutes of March 6th meeting?
I move.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye from Jamie.
Any opposed? Nope. Okay.
Are we, excuse me, Vaune, are we hearing from Kylie and Levin on the votes?
I don't have them on my, there they are. Okay. So Kylie and Levin, you can either unmute yourself and say aye, or you can just put up your hand. And I think, Steph, can you see everybody?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so we can tell if you're opposed, if you don't put up your hand, I guess. That's the procedure. Okay.
Maybe they weren't there for the March 6th meeting.
So I think it's maybe next time starting with that, because it's been your agenda, so it's very difficult to approve something that I was not involved in.
Right. Okay. Okay, so we don't have any public comments today, or is that where? Nope, that we have a delegation on the agenda. So there's no public comments today. Let's do a quick introduction. I'd like to warmly welcome new members to our committee, Kylie Redhead and Levin Cowart. We have one more person coming, Pat Sandir, but he's not available today. So that'll be next time, hopefully. Let's start with just the committee here. I'm Vaune Kolber. I'm the chair of the committee. I think you both know me. So does everybody else just want to give current members or older members, can you just say who you are quickly?
Well, I'm not older than you.
Okay, you know what I
No, I'm
mean.
just kidding. I'm a new old member. I'm Jamie Schaefer from the Hearth.
I'm Jody Lorenz with Tourism Bowen Island.
I'm Maureen Nicholson, Municipal Councillor.
I'm Steph, the staff liaison for the committee.
Okay, and we do have a few people missing, but and then we do have some guests who are also in the room. So Wendy Coe is with provincial government, Francine REIP.
Rural Islands Economic Partnership. I'm sitting in because we're launching our program this week, and Sherese is our manager for the program. So I wanted to be part of the just sit and observe the presentation because I haven't seen the whole thing, and etc. So
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, can we just have Kylie and Levin just give a brief introduce yourself and maybe just a couple of words about why you wanted to be on this committee, what you're hoping to contribute. That would be great. Kylie, do you want to go ahead?
I'll start. So hi, everyone. I know most of you. My name is Kylie Redhead. I've been on Bowen 9 years now, almost. And I actually, over my last 21 years, have started and operated 5 different businesses. And one of them is Bowen located business, Bowen Island Adventures. So I am coming to this committee with a little bit of knowledge about what it's like to run and operate a business on Bowen, but really actually what I was hoping to contribute is one of the other things I've done for the last 12 years is I have been a business and career coach, and I help people create work based on who they are. So I do a program that I offer and facilitate, and I really help people get clear about what their value and strengths and abilities are and what it is they want to create in the world. And I help them bring forward either new jobs, new businesses, or new products and services. And so I'm hoping that I can bring that perspective to the community economic development.
Excellent. Thank you, Kylie. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Levin?
Hi, I'm Levin, and I have to admit it's been a very long time since I have a Zoom call with only women and myself. So that's surprising. The male colleagues are not here. I moved over from Europe to Bowen now 3 years ago. So I really had the luxury of coming into the island, and until before COVID, I was traveling on a monthly basis. But due to COVID, I had the possibility to ground and root ground here on Bowen. So in a special year. Brought 4 kids with me, my wife, and my background is I'm also working with my business from Bowen, but mostly on regional development and leadership development. So I'm involved in regional development still in Europe, parts of Africa, and living on the island, and also seeing the dynamics and the great work that I've been observing from the committee. Also, I thought the moment was right also to contribute with the experience from other places, but also to hope to see where things can happen from the source on the island. So and it's to say it lightly, it's a very interesting place to be part of, and to see the community work, to see things, the dynamics function, and you can never walk through the island without meeting people if your heart is open. But moving things forward is a challenge, and I hope I can help moving things forward. So that's why I came on board, and looking forward to that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Levin. Okay.
It looks like Rod's arrived. Sorry, Levin. You have
okay.
There's a man here now. So
there you go.
Does Rod want to introduce?
Yeah, hi. And just to caught Levin chatting, and sorry that I missed maybe the other two, but looking forward to seeing you all here, and glad to be on the meeting.
And Rod is our vice chair, as well as running a business on the island. So, okay, so let's, I guess we'll get right to our presentation with Rising Tides Business Services, and this is the Rural Islands Economic Partnership.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We really appreciate being here today to share with you a bit about a new social enterprise called Rising Tide Business Services. We're inviting businesses across the rural islands to ride a wave of growth for your island venture. And before I get into a bit of an overview of how and why we're doing that, I'm just going to give you some background on our nonprofit, the RIEP, Rural Island Economic Partnership, that is sponsoring this initiative. So RIEP was born in 2019 out of an economic forum, and they became a certified nonprofit society in January of 2020. And they're dedicated to promoting economic resilience across the rural islands of BC. So they've taken leadership through COVID-19 with island response roundtables and initiating something you might be familiar with, which is Island Comeback, which is listing businesses to sell gift certificates and to receive donations during this precarious time. And we've heard a lot from businesses and some demand around needing support for marketing services. So Rising Tide Business Services came on side as the answer to many of those businesses' needs. And the board of directors for RIEP, members, partners, and supporters are dedicated to the engagement, coordination, and collaboration of local economic goals for sustainability of the islands. We want to be with a go-to reliable resource for rural island micro businesses and small businesses, not just through pandemic recovery, but also beyond through growing resilience and support. And so we believe that Rising Tide, which is the name came from the adage, a rising tide lifts all boats. So through this program, or social enterprise, sorry, we're pooling demand through providing business services that will empower rural island communities to achieve economic, social well-being, as I mentioned, through the pandemic and beyond. So I'll quickly take you through an overview of Rising Tide, just to touch upon a market analysis, and so you can understand a bit of the need that we discovered, our cost structure, and some of the expertise we're bringing. What we like to call our summer 2021 launch incentives to get businesses excited about this new program. To talk a little bit about our resiliency affiliate program. And then at the end, I'll answer any questions you may have, and would love your feedback as well if you have some thoughts on what we're doing here. So the market analysis, we're going to touch on the target markets, our unique value proposition, and a bit of our competitors' comparison, so you can see where we lie compared to other marketing services out there. So when we decided to look at what rural islanders would need, in terms of business services, we looked at different sectors: artisans, food producers, the health and wellness sector, hospitality, nonprofit, retail, and tourism. And they all have different needs, of course, but they all have some commonalities, including for rural islands, that there's a different stages of business that they might be at. A lot of folks might have startups, especially with artisans doing more of a solopreneur approach. They might not have a marketing plan, but they're just passionate and love this hobby that they have, and they're hoping to grow it into a business. And so we see that as an under 30K a year sort of micro business market. And then above that, say plus 30 a year, maybe reaching 50, we see more established businesses. Perhaps they have a marketing plan and a bit of a brand, but they need to sort of elevate their business to the next level and reach new markets. Most rural island businesses are seasonal. They have peaks, spring and summer obviously being that one, and they have a dependency on high tourism periods for their revenues. What we found with Island Comeback is a lot of businesses sort of lacked a digital literacy, and that's not surprising. I mean, most folks do now because things change so fast with the different platforms and what Google can do and what they're taking over. So we find that many small business owners and hobbyists are not familiar or adept at learning or planning for digital marketing, which is a key tool out there for marketing services these days. And of course, being island-based, you have a geographic limitation in terms of market accessibility and the distribution challenges that come with that. So for Rising Tide, we invite those folks to ride a wave of growth for your island venture by working directly with business owners and entrepreneurs to deliver solutions that will multiply sales with affordable digital marketing tools and support. So affordable being the key word here. We are easy on business budgets by leveraging pooled demand. So the more businesses that join, the better in affordability they can receive. Yeah. So as we were discussed, I just mentioned the previous slide, it can be quite intimidating to talk about digital marketing. So we like to bring on a kind of a fun approach to it. And we say, showboat your business. Your website is your ship and anchor guiding your business to new destinations. And with the right instruments, we'll help you navigate to the perfect market for you. We ask folks to sail the open waters with us and put wind in their sails with a solid social media presence, getting attention from potential customers on social media to help businesses find the right channel and show and bring their gusto. And then with a bit more in-depth digital marketing tools, we'll help you navigate to new destinations with SEO and other advertising channels, and you can show off to new customers and uncover new opportunities with those paid advertising strategies. So in terms of our competitive positioning, of course, the island all the islands are home to a thriving creative economy of freelancers, perhaps marketing agencies. There's chambers and associations supporting groups, and there's government funded programs. But these are largely targeted to more established businesses that can pay quite a bit more. So when we looked at what we could offer, we wanted to come in at an affordable provider, having a level of, say, quality assurance overseen by the Rural Island Economic Partnership, being able to drive some of those services that we're offering in terms of making sure that we're offering the right thing at the right time. having an bundled e-marketing solution, delivered to clients that is a bit more turnkey. So often you'll maybe work with a freelancer or an agency. It's a very custom approach and you're paying for that strategy piece. But I think with all the commonalities, small businesses could use something that's just a little more templated and tailored to get them started on their online marketing journey. We will offer ongoing support. So with some government funded initiatives, it's just as the funding lasts, but as this is built as a social enterprise, we'll be reinvesting and being able to offer ongoing support and be a resource through our marketing helpline, which is something people can call or email. We'll be a one-stop shop for most e-marketing services. So we'll have a full range of solutions from, as mentioned, web to paid advertising. And we'll have unlimited capacity to service clients as we build out what we call the Rising Tide Expert Network, which is helping to bring that creative economy to the social enterprise and support businesses with other marketing initiatives. And it'll be an ongoing and sustained model, as I mentioned, so folks don't have to worry about getting in at just the right time and maybe being left floating out there without further resources. So when we looked again at those other providers, we aim to come in at about, say, $40 to $50 an hour, which is below the medium average for a freelancer's charge per hour, definitely lower than an agency and those folks that, say, Small Business BC had referred to small business to in the past. While chambers and nonprofits offer programs, they're most likely do it yourself, but they are free. So there's a time cost to doing that. And the government programs, usually like with Launch Online, they'll fund 75% of a program. So you'll still have to pay up front quite a bit and be at par with what we're offering. So in terms of costs and expertise, I'm just going to give a quick review of our digital marketing services, a bit of our marketing helpline, and talk a bit about the Rising Tide Expert Network. So when we say we will support you with your website, we'll do sort of a full scale approach from an audit and look at where you are at and what perhaps you could improve just with some tips and tricks to get you started, or you might want to do a complete refresh. So we'll be offering templates for different sectors to choose from. And it'll come in at a couple different price ranges depending on your size of your business, whether that's micro or small. And so we figure that would align with the amount of work that would be needed to get you started. If you decide to sell your products online, we can support you with e-commerce, with a shopping cart attached to your website, or some e-commerce planning with a marketing plan and maybe a strategy for product fulfillment. And we'll also be looking at search engine optimization so that you're accessible on the web. To further market your business, we'll look at social media resources and do an audit and some recommendations from your current channels. And then we'll help you just to, get started and be a little more comfortable with being present for 3 to 6 months, depending on your needs. And we could do branded weekly posts for both micro and small businesses so that you have a consistent presence, which can be a challenge for businesses that are out there, finally getting to farmers markets and actually working with their customers. And then through that all, we'll have a marketing helpline. So there's myself, and then now we'll have a coordinator as well for Rising Tide, who is also a trained business coach, and she'll be staffing a helpline as well as answering any emails that clients may wish to ask, with a monthly subscription or a 3-month subscription special. So the Rising Tide Expert Network will help us deliver a lot of these services that some will be doing in-house, such as the audits and assessments. But for more sophisticated web development, SEO, and social media, we'll be having a coordination of these experts that will help support these other businesses. So it's sort of a locals supporting locals initiative. And we'll be creating a talent pool from this creative economy, and we'll be able to profile them on our website. So that way we can share, their business as well, and it's helping to grow all economies in that manner. And then we'll have peripheral services featured such as photography, graphic design, or branding by some vetted local preferred suppliers that people can reach out to. So to get us going in the summer, we're asking folks to jump on board with Rising Tide Services, and we'll be offering special incentives. These will be featured on our website. It's a dedicated page on the RIEP website. There'll be a link to a menu of everything that I just reviewed with descriptions and costs for each service bundle. And each member will be each potential client will be prompted to join as a member to RIEP to gain access to the Rising Tide shopping cart and services. So in June and July, we'll be offering the first 10 businesses free website audit or social media assessment with recommendations on how to get started with a full plan. July and August, we'll have 15 businesses, the first 15 businesses to sign up will receive 10% off a service, website, SEO, or social media. And then throughout August and September, we'll be doing a raffle for folks and offering free marketing helpline subscription to those folks who signed up as members to RIEP. To support growing this network, we are launching a resilience affiliate program as well, which offer benefits for chambers, associations, other nonprofits that have a network that support businesses. And then that way you'll be able to give your members benefits. And we'll provide you with a great info kit to help with communications around that. So we call this the affiliate program, and we'll help you connect your members with a community of resources and help and engage new markets that will help these small businesses maximize their business growth now and beyond the impact of the pandemic. So with our services, we're offering these pooled demand purchasing to grow our purchasing power and allowing local businesses to access affordable and hands-on digital marketing services that will grow their customer base. And so that way, rural business island operators can live off their business and take it to the next level. So with your support, we'll be offering 10% off any 2 Rising Tide services to organizations that come on. And so we'll be asking a number of chambers, economic development committees to consider becoming a member of RIEP and accessing these benefits. We also provide 2 months of free marketing helpline services for your organization. And then you'll be profiled on the RIEP website. So the RIEP website has connection to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, where we'll be featuring island stories. There's already a few up there, and there'll be regular social media posts to promote you. So to become a Rising Tide affiliate, your organization would join the Rural Islands Economic Partnership, and that comes for about under $100. And that way as well, your members will receive special benefits from June to December for your that can be promoted from your organization's website. So this is above and beyond the other incentives for the first businesses that come on. So we'll be offering free marketing helpline for 2 months if you're affiliated with one of our affiliates. If you, you'll get, the members can have 10% off the social media package and 50% off an SEO startup consultation. And we'll also be offering free 1-hour business growth strategy consultations for members of the organizations that sign on as affiliates. So for those members, businesses to join RIEP for a sole proprietorship or an incorporation, it's about $35. And then you'll have access to all these benefits. And in return, we're asking organizations to help promote Rising Tide by hosting an info session to introduce Rising Tide benefits to your members, promote Rising Tide in your organization's monthly newsletter by listing the benefits as well for your members, and placing perhaps like an affiliate button on your website linking to the Rising Tide webpage. And there'll be regular social media posts. So we'll also have an info kit available, and that way you can share all this on your social media and emails quite easily. So with Rising Tide coming on board, we are supporting island comeback businesses to, of course, still get gift certificates, but we're looking at refreshing the Island Comeback website as a directory for all rural island businesses. So at this time, I'd love to take any questions or hear some feedback from any of you.
Well, I'll start. It's Rod here. It's great to hear your presentation again, Sherry, which we heard at the Rural Island board not too long ago, and it's really coming together. So kudos to you. It's very concise, and I'm understanding more about all your efforts with each time I hear it. So, I think I'll turn it over to the other people listening who are listening for the first time.
Great. It's another benefit. You'll hear me again, and maybe there'll be some deeper understanding. But it's a lot of pieces coming together. So the hope is that all chambers and associations will see the benefit for their members to grow and build their capacity as a small business or a micro business by working with us on some of the digital marketing services we have.
I've got a couple of questions, Sherese. This is amazing. Actually, I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is wonderful services to be able to offer to our businesses. How are you able to offer such reasonable prices for everything? I'm just kind of trying to understand what's, you mentioned a lot of programs are sort of funded for a certain amount of time, but how are you able to offer these prices?
Right. So I've been consulting for about 10 years, and I'm finding that the evolution of all the different softwares that are available now, and just the sheer amount of assets and resources available, just allow things to happen a lot quicker. And that there's almost a formula for a lot of these things, especially when it comes to small business. And so we're just sort of creating a formula that is replicable for every sort of sector, actually, just to get going with their communications and marketing. And then, we can take it a bit further, and they could develop more of a custom solution as they grow. But it seems to be more of a hurdle to get over that intimidation piece of how often do I post, what do I say, what do I show? And most people have that already. Kind of
right. So
don't have the confidence. So we just create very scoped out programs for them to get going in short periods.
Okay, so all the services right now are being offered by yourself and the coordinator, or I thought you said you had other experts that you would bring in, or
yeah. So freelancers that would charge like above a bit what we charge, they would benefit from the marketing that we do on their behalf. So their acquisition costs for their clients are reduced, and they're also getting promotion through us, so they can offer their services at a bit of a lower price.
Okay. Can I ask you just to unshare your screen so we can see everybody again? Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So I guess for us, it would be if Bowen Island as a municipality became an affiliate, then anybody on Bowen with a business can access all of those benefits. And that's $100 for the municipality to join. Is that what you're saying, or?
They will receive special benefits to this service, but they still need to join as a member.
Okay, so we pay $100 to join as an affiliate. They pay $35 to join as a member, and then all those benefits are accessible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my understanding, Vaune and Sherry, would be that, for instance, the tourism group on Bowen and the Arts Council group, they might want to consider because of the benefits to their sectors and the businesses that they represent.
Right. Sorry. Because you're a committee bringing together different sectors, right? So if you have sector associations and they apply as an organizational member and they have members, then they can receive the special discounts that we give to members of our affiliate program.
Okay, so we don't have a chamber here. We don't have an association of any kind. So it's really our committee operating as any sort of, business related entity. And we're a committee of the council. So that's what I'm kind of trying to get my head around. Like what entity on Bowen would be the affiliate? Can we just do it as a municipality, and then you're still going to sign up all the different businesses, right, that would access those services? So I don't know how else to do it here because we don't really have.
Yeah. And so Rod was saying there's a tourism association. Is there?
Hi,
Yeah,
Sherese. I'm Jody with Tourism Bowen Island. We actually spoke, I don't know, a couple
Yes,
months
of
ago.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for this. Even though we spoke before previously, still you presented a lot of information. So while you were talking, I went to the website, saw that it looks like you're going to be adding more information and documentation on the website. Is that correct?
Yeah. By
when do you think that will be coming?
next week.
Okay, great. Okay, because I'm a little bit overwhelmed and a bit like Vaune, trying to figure out exactly how the memberships and everything works. But it sounds like even what Vaune is saying, if Tourism Bowen Island was to become a member, each of our, because we're a member-based organization as well, they would still have to join. What's the name of the program again? Rising Tide. Rising Tide. Yeah, to access the resources. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's actually pay as you go, whatever services you want to access, essentially. But
Yeah.
But the benefit is that you have slightly lower services, and also the idea of collaborating, and that might be a louder voice. Is that correct?
Yeah. And there's that quality assurance piece too. I think a lot of people run it, just like if you get someone in to remodel your home, if people start getting into your website and all sorts of things can happen. So we're not going to leave folks stranded, cut and run. And yeah.
And I saw like at one point you did say like templates up. What for the website, what format are you using for the website templates that you mentioned?
We're looking at Squarespace to start with, and yeah, because they offer a full range of support beyond that, and it's hosted, so you don't get into all those different particulars you would sometimes with a more sophisticated WordPress website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then conceivably somebody who maybe got the Launch Online could access your services through the Launch Online grant. Is that correct?
Yeah, we could support that. Yeah, we could work that through the marketing helpline, sort of going through the application, and if they wanted to, especially when it comes to the full e-commerce, it'd have to be e-commerce.
Yeah, the e-commerce, things like photographer and stuff like that. I'm having a little bit of where you're based, your Salt Spring, is that correct?
Yes, but I'm between Vancouver and Vancouver Island.
Oh, you are. Okay.
RIEPS,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just wondering, for instance, like a photographer, would obviously have to travel from wherever to come to, say, Bowen to do photography and stuff like that. So,
so the peripheral services, we'd be looking at establishing preferred photographers on every island, being that there's just so many, available.
Yeah, I was going to say, because within our community, we have. This is one of my thoughts. How to tap into resources that we have within our community, as opposed to getting somebody coming from a different island or something like that. I think that would, from our community economic development stance, that would be really important to make sure that we're supporting local. But to see the collaboration that could be beneficial. But first of all, trying to support our local small businesses and consultants and things like that here.
Well,
Well,
Sherese,
how are
I'd
you
like
going to
interrupt-
build that network, Sherese?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Never mind. Oh.
How are you going to build the network? Like that's what I understood, that you would try and find all these periphery services for each island, right? So are you going to then consult with each member organization and say, can we make recommendations, or how are you going to go about that?
Cool.
She's frozen.
Darn.
Okay, I can respond until she gets unfrozen. Is that we're going to be vetting? Are you there, Sherese? Whoops, we lost her. Oh, you back? Sherese, you're on route now. Why don't you answer the question?
Okay. How will we be fostering the Rising Tide Expert Network? Was your question. So yeah, it's definitely through the chambers associations, and then just through Even Island Comeback Marketplace. A number of folks have joined that we're interested in talking with. We'll be starting like social media through a Facebook group, and there's lots of different creative and freelancer little social media groups on Facebook that we'll be tapping, and just reaching out to local businesses directly who we think have a great web presence or some demonstrated abilities that we're interested in. Definitely taking on an approach that each island would kind of grow their capacity with their own talent pool. So photographers, web developers, social media strategists from every island would be sort of the goal. And so if we see, as we get going and I see a few islands, like already we've identified a photographer from Quadra. I know a few on Bowen and Salt Spring. There's just a wealth of folks, I think, that would be excited to be a part of this. So yeah, our first thing was just crafting this enterprise together. And now we'll be launching our media plan over the next month.
Great. Okay, Maureen, did you have a question?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Sherese.
Pleasure.
I wondered that the affiliate and membership angle, I'm having difficulty thinking that through as well from a Bowen Island perspective. And one of the things that is unique about Bowen Island, a couple of things, we are a municipality, which distinguishes us from other islands in the Islands Trust and beyond. And we have a business licensing system, which other communities don't have. I wondered if there might be any benefit in making the argument, and this is for the rest of the committee, making the argument that the municipality is the umbrella, and any of our businesses on island that have a municipal business license could be considered as partners. So I'll just put that out there, and Sherese, just for you to maybe keep in mind, and I'll come back to it when I finish with my other points. The $35 fee and the $100 fee, are those annual fees or are they?
Yes.
They're annual fees.
Yeah.
Okay. And then third point, how to do with the sectors that you identified, largely related to seasonal businesses, and most of the examples that you brought up are arts related. They're digital. We have lots of businesses, and I'm sure other islands do, that are more trades oriented. The small plumber.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Basically somebody who provides services for your home year round. And those folks may not necessarily have easy access to developing a website either. And many of them may not need a website because they've got plenty of business, but some might, if they're just starting up. So I'm wondering if there's a sector there that you're missing in the pitch to potential participants in your program. So just for consideration.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So just to come back to my first point to the committee, what do you think of that idea? And first of all, before we argue that it's a good idea, to Sherese, does it make sense to think of the municipality as the overarching body? sort of standing in lieu of a chamber of commerce?
I think that's really the sort of most sensible way to do it, because if we start going with this, tourism and then something else, or, we don't really have, because like I said, we don't have like the Chamber of Commerce, we don't have a formal business association, right? That would make sense. And then that way, you just, the municipality is the affiliate, and then the individual businesses, like I like your suggestion, Maureen, if they have a business license, then they could take their $35 membership out for RIEP, right? My understanding is that the membership is to RIEP, not to Rising Tides particularly, or
It is to RIEP, and then that gives you access to, well, there's the annual forum as well, and training and education opportunities beyond Rising Tide.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jody, does that make sense to you? Like, would most of your members now have business licenses?
I think it makes sense for the economic, if it's, economic development committee becomes the member. I would say most people have business licenses. I mean, I can't speak on behalf, but that makes sense to me. Yeah. Because once again, I kind of need to see this stuff, but Sherese, so the affiliate members means it's slightly, it's a reduced fee as opposed to just becoming a member themselves. Is that correct?
So affiliate members are organizations that join and help us promote Rising Tide to their members. So you can join as an organization, so the municipality of Bowen can join, but they don't have to do anything. They could just join and be a part of RIEP, and
but there's
leave
a
it
fee
there.
I'm just trying to understand. There's a fee for that.
There is a fee for that, yeah.
And then an affiliate member is, I'm getting confused. I sort of need to see that. So I'll share that. I'm very visual too, so we've also just did a big list of words around that, but there's a hierarchy there with the organization joining RIEP, but if they choose to promote Rising Tide, then they become that affiliate, and they can receive Rising Tide services at a discount, and so can their members. And then what about Jane Doe, who just operates a shop but wants to access some of your service? What does Jane Doe become? A member or
a business member?
A business member. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is a business membership?
$35.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the municipality would likely help to promote this if we came to a consensus. We've in the past promoted the Rural Islands Economic Partnership, and we've promoted the Comeback program. I don't think there would be any issues around that. Sorry, Rod, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, and I was just gonna maybe, especially for the benefit of our new members on the committee, like for Kylie and Lieben here, the municipality, through the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee, has already become a member of the Rural Island Economic Partnership, or the predecessor, the forum that was launched, and has been, both financial and in kind contributor to the partnership. So I think, as you're echoing, Maureen, I would hope that the council would, continue to take our recommendations to support both financially and membership wise and promotion wise for the Rising Tide program as part of that. So I, in a way, it's a bit of a nuance to say that the municipality would join. I think it's already either, I don't know if we formally joined the new society, but we've already contributed to the actual founding of the society, both financially and in kind again. So I think we're definitely on that path to begin with, and this would be a logical next step. And the only thing that I would say about the different affiliate organizations is just to ensure that they're directly engaged. So that, as Jody is already and has been in contact on contact with both Francine and Sherese already, but in tourism, but other organizations on the island directly engage, whether they're officially affiliate members or not. And so how that happens, you know, whether it's financially, you know, by joining for $100 or just essentially putting up their hands and saying, yes, we're part of the fabric of our island businesses.
What's thanks for adding that, Rol, but it helps to understand. And what I see is to make these things as natural as possible is most of the way to make them fly. And what I can imagine, only thinking about already 2 to 3 people on islands that could give similar services as what you just presented, Sherese. I really like the tagline also on the website is collaborate regionally, create impact locally, or it's something like that I read also. If you find the natural supporters and also partners of yours that could bring your services forward from the island, but they also have a connection to bring that to the other islands, you have your ambassadors, and we have our ambassadors, and nobody needs to promote anything. You have people that are the promoters of that. So who could be, that would be my suggestion on strategy also. How could this be something for the island and with the island at the same time, so that we don't have to do anything as a committee, or the municipality doesn't have to work. There's 3 to 4 people making their business with this because they collaborate with you, and because you exist, they can also collaborate with other islands. And that looks like a very natural flow of what you just presented. I can really see people on island that could profit from your service, but also be the partners on that on a consulting basis.
Right.
And that's, to my opinion, that's the most easy way to go, because then it's also from the island. It's not only from you and Hearth working with the 2 of you, because that's going to be damn hard work to convince from somewhere in Salt Spring to convince people to work with you here. No. If you have Bowen Islanders doing that work with you, it's a completely different pitch. And if then these Bowen Islanders can work for Salt Spring business, for Quadro business, whatever, then you really have the joy of the region. So that would be my suggestion, to explore who would be willing to step in, and just also out of ease, if these people are on board, we don't have to work on that anymore. It's just happening. So that's my 50 cents of what I, but it's great to see that initiative.
Yeah. I think coming at it from that side, where developing the Rising Tide expert network for Bowen and for each of the islands will be key. But it'd still help to have that mechanism with the municipality or any association with members, just to have that touching point around the services, and just the idea that rural islands can collaborate is sort of a new one. So we'd like to see that grow as well, and increase the membership there.
Just to speak to that, Levin, is that the Rural Islands Economic Partnership is not one location. It's 18 rural islands. And the whole idea is to collaborate and engage so that we all are resilient together. So it's not a Salt Spring program or a Quadro program, it's a Rural Islands program. So that's the key for us, is collaboration and sharing and leveraging resources. So glad to have this time to share with Bowen, and to find a way to work with the municipality and the individual sectors to make it a win-win. You're the first group we presented this to, and like Rod said, he heard a much longer presentation, but we're trying to reduce it, and Sherese is probably going to be speaking in her sleep about this for a long time. So yeah, it's a work in progress. So the feedback, the input that each one of you are giving is precious. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just add quickly, Stephen, I'm not sure why we wouldn't promote it as a municipality to our businesses, because I still think that's a great resource for people to get started, to access this really reasonable cost. Like you said, you know, what Sherese can just offer. It's a service to anybody in any of the islands. And yes, we do have experts here as well. But I don't think there's any harm in us as an affiliate, you know, promoting to businesses and letting them have access to what Sherese has to offer. And then past that, you can start tapping into this to other expert networks wherever they are, Bowen or otherwise, right? That's sort of how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, and that's, that's also as I see it, Vaune. It's not promoting, but I think it's going to be so much easier to promote it with some Bowen people that are part of that expert network than without them.
Oh,
That's the
yes,
only
of
thing I wanna
course.
say.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That
But-
will grow it for sure. Yes,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then-
That's why I
then
was
the-
curious about how they would be established, because then would you go to us as an affiliate member and say, okay, who are your local experts, kind of thinking, who wants to be part of this, and then trust our like, how do you vet them, right? Like, you trust our opinion on the quality kind of thing. I'm not sure how that will work exactly, but
Yeah, we'll have our own engagement process on this. And you can't tell until someone works with us, but we'll be the fallback. So if they don't deliver, then we're here to sort of pick up those pieces. But everyone, that I think is attracted to this program will want to build a reputation and come with the best intentions. So we'd like to see this network develop in a spirit where they're giving to their local communities, right? So definitely what we're doing with Island Comeback first is all those registrants will be contacted within the next 2 weeks with information on Rising Tide and an invitation to join. And so that would include any of the Bowen Island businesses. And in that initiative will be much more focused on each of the island businesses, whereas right now we're kind of just reaching out to all these broad associations and kind of getting feedback on this initiative. But once I speak to those local businesses, I think then the word will start to come out, and we'll be able to speak with those local consultants that Levin you're talking about, and to hopefully grow that network that way.
so at this point, then, if we want to join as an affiliate, or like when will that be ready to join, basically? Like, what action should we be doing now at this point?
We would just follow up with a sort of a little memorandum of agreement around some of the things that you can do to promote, and then our agreement on how we'll support you to do that, and then the discounts that will be offered to both you and the businesses from Rising Tide. So then you'd be provided with an info kit, and you'll be able to share on social media in your communications, whether that be newsletter, maybe you have maybe a little newspaper on the island, I'm not sure. And then
I'm just wondering, are you ready to go? Like, if we join and we have businesses who want to access your services, are you ready to go now, or?
Next week, yeah. So
Next
I'll
week, okay.
follow up with a link to a very different looking webpage and our e-commerce shopping cart, where folks can join as a member and then purchase any of the services. And there'll be a much more broader description of each of our packages as well.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we just didn't want to miss this opportunity to meet with you. And it's a bit premature, but next week.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it though, because it's good. Now we have a better understanding of what's possible, right? So
perfect.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions? Nope. Okay, thank you, Sherese and Francine.
Have a wonderful day.
Coming and
Thank you,
giving us that
Sherese and
info.
Francine.
Yeah, we'll be sending some more information, and please don't hesitate to contact me with other questions you may have. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along. I guess we can just, as a committee, we'll need to talk about that, I guess, a bit more once they're really ready to go, and how we're really going to do it. But it sounds to me like something we should definitely participate in. It's a great resource.
We can include that in the next agenda.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's do that.
And maybe include.
Is there a chance to get oh, sorry, Maureen. Is there a chance to get a copy of that presentation? Oh,
I just
thanks,
got it.
Steph. Okay.
Maybe
I've
there's
got it
al-
right now.
Maybe there's also an opportunity to check in with some of our business licensees. It might be good to get a sense of who the local folks are who would be doing web services and consulting. we always have that concern about promoting one business interest over another business interest. And even though this is coming out of the Rural Islands Economic Partnership, it's still a social enterprise. And I wouldn't want it to be seen to be in competition with some of our local businesses. So when it comes out the door, it should be really clear that there's that opportunity for some of our local experts to be part of the consulting contingent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still not clear on how they're going to do that because, for instance, I can think of a couple of one agency here that I once had a quote for a marketing package, and boy, it was like about $5,000 and for a website and marketing materials and things and sort of brand development. And I can think of another web developer who would charge. So I don't know if those businesses will see the advantage of, oh, we can get more customers because they're going to promote us. Or are they going to actually agree to receive only that small fee, right? Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do that because the business must be, I'm guessing, going to be quite fledgling, to who wants to get their name out there, who would see that as an advantage. Otherwise, I don't see them wanting that business,
Well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
What might help from is, and Maureen, is if we start mapping from ourselves, who are the people in the same business area here on Bowen, and already having that insight, and maybe it's already present. So if I don't know, my apologies, but if we would have an insight on what are the primary businesses on Bowen that are doing the same or similar work, then you can have the right conversation with them. So, and I think you're always going to have a discussion on price tags because they go really, really low. They go beyond market pricing. That's dangerous. But it's also beautiful when it's going to, it can also leverage business. So I think we can also take it in our hands to start mapping who is present on Bowen and who is doing what in this field of expertise that Sherese presented. And I think it's more proactive than waiting what they're going to do, because I think it's going to give it a more chance of winning mutually. I love the idea of just bundling these forces beyond the islands. It's great. I love the idea, but it needs to be feasible from both ends.
Yeah.
So,
the business license directory, even, which is now online, it's a searchable business directory, and you should be able to get most of that information, I think, just by searching.
Okay. And actually, come to think of it, I don't know that, the Sherese is going to offer a certain level of service for those fees, right? And then actually after that, when other expert networks are brought in, I'm sure they can have their own pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I was kind of thinking originally, or they have to stick to her pricing, but no, I'm sure it's going to be, they set their own prices and then, a customer can decide if that's who they want to go with. So it still does give them promotion and not necessarily reduce their fees. So I think that, well, we can clarify that, but I think that's probably what more likely it is, right?
Yeah. And I think in terms of our task is to decide once we see the MOU, whether we want to recommend it being signed off on. And we've certainly got $100 in the budget.
Yeah.
And then assisting them with promotion and forewarning local folks that this is coming.
Yeah, and I do think though we could really, I think it could be a huge benefit. It could give, because all of these people, except for maybe photographers, right, who have to be physically in a space, could get business from anywhere. So, they might have a specialization in every field, and every web designers could have, specialization in various areas. So, then anybody out there within 18 islands could say, oh yeah, this is a better fit for me. And they can still work remotely, right? So, okay.
Do you want take a sec to show even the business search or people the business search function?
We only have half an hour left.
I'll send it in a link, though it's a few steps, but then it's quite useful once you get there.
I just wanted to ask, and this question's coming from ignorance, how how comprehensive do you think that database is? Meaning how many businesses are still operating on island offering services but don't actually have a business license?
My
Hard to know. Steph, do you wanna?
my knee-jerk reaction to that is I think it's quite comprehensive. I think there are
Okay.
businesses that are either hiding or disinterested, but they're maybe people who are selling cosmetics to people in New Orleans or something. I think if someone's offering services, we have quite a bit of buy-in.
Okay.
So I feel like
It's over.
yeah,
I think it's over 500 now. Is that correct?
480 or something, yeah.
And I think anybody who would be interested in promoting their services is going to have a business license because they've got a public profile. And our business license officer is getting better at following up with non-licensed businesses.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that will be on our next agenda to follow this up. And next up, we have an update from the province.
Hi there, it's Wendy. So not much of an update, maybe just to, you know, you had mentioned that the last meeting was it in March, I think? So since then, I believe, and you guys might be aware of it already, that Tourism Bowen Island was successful in their application for the iced tea funding that they received. So congratulations to Jody and her team. It's great work there. And I guess, you know, on that front on iced tea, I know we had some discussion around that. So I'm not sure since then, you know, what Bowen Island's committee thoughts are in terms of whether there is an appetite or an interest in iced tea, but just putting it out there, if folks have any updates and to share on that front, I'd be interested to hear that. I know that iced tea has just launched another program. It's called Thrive, and I believe that program is for the iced tea boundary, I guess, or the traditional boundary of iced tea regions. So just wanted to raise that. Maybe I should stop there first to see if anyone has any thoughts on that front or not.
I do, Wendy. It's Maureen. When I saw the Drive program come out from ICE-T, I got in touch with them immediately to find out if we were included in the catchment for the program. And Bowen isn't, yes, unfortunately, so we can't apply for this. But I wanted to thank you for the heads up on other ICE-T opportunities and to congratulate Jody. There hasn't been any news release regarding the award that went to tourism, and I asked Jody if there would be one, and she wasn't quite sure what next steps would be. So I wonder if we could, as a committee, recommend that there be some sort of public acknowledgement that Tourism Bowen received this grant award.
I think that's a good idea.
I hadn't thought of a press release, so yeah, sure, we can do that. Yeah, it's very, yeah.
Do you want to do it, or should we ask the municipality to do it on
I can craft one, and then if you wanted to send it out on the municipality, and yeah, thank the ministry and everything for including. Yeah, that's a great idea. To be honest, I've been busy with other things. I hadn't even thought of that, but sure, I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just acknowledges, you know, the effort that you put into this, and it also it's a toehold with another trust that we hadn't made headway with before. For our new committee members, ICE-T is the Island Coastal Economic Trust, and maybe Wendy, could you describe what it is? You'll get the details more accurately than I will.
Sure, I'll do my best. So yeah, so ICE-T stands for, I believe, Island Coastal Trust, Island Coastal Economic Trust, ICET, correct. And they do have a standard catchment area, and I believe actually all of the rural, I could be wrong, but and we can double check on that, but I think most if not all of the rural islands in RIEP, I think, are members of ICE-T. So I think that's something to consider as well. I think, you know, I know in our tourism committee meetings, and Jody, I know you sit on those tourism meetings with Jonathan from DBC and the Vancouver Coast Mountain region. There have been some, you know, discussion, I guess, or conversations around, you know, is there a way to support Bowen, I guess, especially, you know, with tourism and with ICE-T being such, you know, a natural fit potentially, but you know, and also realizing some of the challenges. So anyway, so that's something I just wanted to kind of raise, and I'll take, you know, directions and guidance from your committee on how you guys would like to move forward and have.
Sorry, Wendy, can you just clarify it? So we are not.
You are not a member. Yeah, you're not in the catchment area of ICE for the based on the understanding that Bowen Island is part of Metro Vancouver. So,
but did we not make an application, Maureen?
We were given, Bowen Island was given a one-time so far exemption for a program that Jody applied for.
Right, but I thought we were going to make an application for a longer standing membership.
Yeah, I thought there was a council motion or a letter going, wasn't there, Maureen?
I don't recall that. There may very well be, but this is an ongoing effort on the part of municipal council. It's in the island plan to keep striving for standing with ICE-T and with some of the federal programs where we are currently excluded. So, right. So in answer to your question, Wendy, yeah, we're interested in continuing to push at that door to keep it open permanently.
And in any way that if you need, yeah, any, you know, I guess I'll like I said, I'm more than happy to help provide any support on my side where I can, based on, you know, your advice and your guidance on how you guys would like to do it, and I'll try and make those necessary connections through my, you know, on the ground provincial liaison resources as best as I can. And maybe what I'll also say is that I'm interested to hear, and maybe that's something, I know that's something that's in the works already, the CED plan, the local economic development plan for Bowen Island, and looking forward to the 23rd. I think that's the town hall that's taking place. So I registered and look forward to hearing some information up front. And I guess the context around that is that, you know, it's all about timing, right? So depending on how, you know, what potentially comes out of that and the recommendations, I'm just trying to, you know, think ahead here in terms of potential, you know, again, funding opportunities. As you well know, CERUP, which is the Community Economic Recovery Infrastructure Program. I have a hard time remembering all these names. So CERUP was a funding program that was launched back in the fall, and we don't know yet if there are any future call for applications, but all that to say is it's always good for communities to have some priorities or plans ahead in case, you know, potential funding opportunities arise again. So just something to put out there for your committee to consider. Yeah.
Actually, in that vein, I was going to say, so I'm speaking sort of individually here, but I was so excited when that ICE-T funding came out, because it's so rare that you get money to actually pay people to work rather than, you know, just paying for infrastructure, right? So that's something that I would just, well, two things. There was maybe going to be another intake for ICE-T because we had considered originally as a municipality applying for that kind of funding to fund like an economic development officer, right? Like a core resource person for our community. And then we didn't have the ability to do it. And I understood there might be a chance maybe in the second or third intake on that one. But just in general, I was going to say to you, please let us know if there's, I know they're rare, but if you smell anything coming down the line of a similar nature where it would actually provide funds to hire a person, right? Really appreciate a heads up on that.
Yes, I understand. And yes, and you are right. The IC funding was actually would have fit what your needs or what you talked about, like right up the alley. Would have, yeah, that funding was to support HR capacity really. And
will there be any more in that program, or?
Oh dear, I think that's a good point. I know I thought they had put out a call for a second round of applications, but I'll just need to quickly double check that. So
They did, Wendy, and that was the round that Jody and Sherese and Bowen
yes,
applied.
you are great. Yes, that was the second round. And I don't know now if they were gonna, maybe they've just closed now for good. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna have any more rounds after that. Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping for round 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. And I realized I messed up the agenda here. I was supposed to do the update on our development plan. And I went ahead. So, because we sort of switched a few items there. So maybe I should do that now. The reason we haven't met since March 6th is because quite a large part of our committee is part of a working group that's been working with the consultants that we've hired to help us complete our community economic development plan. So we've all been putting a lot of time into that, and but especially for the benefit of our new members, I'll just give you a brief overview. We hired these consultants to help us complete the plan. We have been working with them for several months now. Our target goal is to have it done by September, sometime in September, I believe. Essentially the engagement process, which is the most important part about how to engage the island in terms of taking ownership to this plan, and getting as much feedback as possible to inform the plan. It so far has consisted of doing a survey, which was open to everybody. We had to do quite a bit of, the committee and Steph especially had to do a lot of work to really get people. Kylie was actually very helpful with that. She was hired as an ambassador by the consultants and to stand outside at the Ready and the grocery store and wherever else, literally asking people to take the survey. So we ended up with not a bad response. I think it was 180 or 90 people in the end. The survey was a bit cumbersome and we had a lot of negative feedback about it, but at the same time, there was quite a bit of commentary provided. So that gave them sort of the base to work from. And then second phase was a set of 5 focus groups, actually divided into sectors, or sorry, through reviewing all of the prior work that the committee, the municipality, like a whole, various things have been done in the past, gathering information about economic development for the island, and then combining that with looking at the survey results, they came up with 5 overarching topics, and I think 4 or 5 cross-cutting topics that would apply to all of those overarching topics. And then invited people to focus groups. So 5 focus groups were held. That information is going into the mix. And then the next bit and the final bit before they go away to actually write the plan will be a town hall, which Wendy, you said you already signed up for. Thank you. We're going to have still a few more discussions about how that town hall will play out, but that is the plan. And that really is the limit in terms of what the consultants have planned and budgeted for in terms of community engagement, other than there is an ongoing invitation to the community to provide any commentary you want, either through platform that we have, that we are using on the municipal website called Citizen Lab, or just directly emailing me, a committee member, or Steph, kind of thing. So that's where we're at. And of course, there's a lot in there.
I think, you know, the ideas that are coming from it, the comments, like public comments, I like them. You know, that's the real stuff. That's the real information that we're looking for.
Where you're seeing that on Citizen Lab, Jamie?
Yeah.
That's the comment.
Where is it? It's all the comments. It's the ideas section where people are sharing their thoughts.
Yeah.
It's a really good read for sure. I think they're good local comments from the ground, you know.
And the idea for the town hall is that there's going to be 2 or 3, I guess, again, distilling, you know, from all of this, 2 or 3 topics that they're going to present, along with some experts that they're bringing in, or some guest knowledge people, right? But
will there be opportunities for like sticky note comments from the public?
I don't know exactly. I don't know. Like our working group is going to have a meeting on tomorrow, actually, to discuss what we think about the topics that they've presented. I'm not really.
Usually in a town hall, people have an opportunity to share their thoughts.
Yes.
You don't want a town hall to be all about, we're going to talk to you and you just listen.
No. That's the idea.
It's all about, you know, yeah.
But we're supposed to give them some feedback now on these topic areas, and then Steph, remind me, do we have another meeting with them before the town halls is finalized? Like,
We could do, but I was just going to provide them with an update from our working group meeting. But why don't we tell the members of the CDC what these ideas are for the town hall topics and get their feedback?
Sure, go ahead. Do you have it handy?
Number 1, responsible tourism. It says, given that this is a very important sector to Bowen and many rural islands, but also has potential negative impacts, we want to better explore some of the ideas being developed by the Rural Islands Economic Partnership to develop responsible and sustainable tourism. Topic 1. Topic 2, manufacturing and light industrial activities, an area where significant potential exists to create new jobs, but also can have potential conflicts, particularly in close proximity to residential areas. We want to explore some ideas being developed by Rural Islands Economic Partnership members to create manufacturing zones or social enterprise zones that would allow certain businesses to flourish while minimizing negative impacts. There's a third one. Those are the 2, and then he's sort of thrown out a third one about difficult to reach residents, and those have been young families, childcare being an issue. But there's
And we should be sharing this town hall information to the whole community to make sure that they attend.
We will, once we know that these are in fact the topics.
Okay.
We only received them a day or 2 ago.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, though, we're doing the without actually saying what the topics are. We have posters, and I'm going to be driving around with Steph, putting them near mailboxes, the mailbox, zones, as well as handing out flyers, just giving people the sort of like, there's going to be one, no real content info, but
we can make new posters once the topics are.
Yeah, but we're just sort of doing a prelim, get the word out kind of thing.
So maybe get it out to organizations. Get it out to organizations that can forward it to their memberships, like
good stuff.
Tourism and the Hearth, and all the different organizations that have large membership lists.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Steph, you can do that.
Yes, Jody.
Sorry, I'm I'm a little bit confused. Maybe I need a little bit more information. So we had the, was it four sessions, I believe, and five sessions. And now we've come to these two kind of areas. I don't understand how we landed there. And then I'm not sure, what are we hoping to achieve? Like, what about the other areas? Where did they go? And
I feel like these are the areas that have some conflict in them, and so they need to be refined. I think that like health and wellness and the food sectors, they landed quite squarely where they needed to be.
So this is for the consultants to get some more understanding of the topic before they do a community economic plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming the plan is not going to be focused on these 2 or 3 things. It's just an opportunity to go deeper into 2 or 3 things that have come out in a big way
And regarding the sticky note, it was that they're going to present these ideas and they're giving an expert kind of comment on it and then asking for community feedback. That is the key part of it.
Okay, so responsible tourism. In both of those topics, you mentioned something about the rural economic partnership. And so like, working in tourism and working with Destination BC and stuff, I'm not aware of the rural economic partnership with their responsible tourism. How is that?
I'm not sure. So I think he well, Rod might speak to it. I provided Rod and David an introduction, and then David spoke to Francine, who you met today, or and then he's really kind of embedded that in this one email. So I'm actually not clear on the full connection there.
Well, I'm assuming what he meant is that he is also going to do a scan of what other rural islands are doing, since we are part of this partnership, to see if there's any good examples there that could be applicable to Bowen. That's what I assumed that meant.
I assumed it meant that he was planning to invite people from the Rural Islands Economic Partnership to be the guests. And if that's the case,
I see.
If that's the case, I think 2 guests from the Rural Islands Economic Partnership is too much. It needs to be broader.
Okay, so I'll make notes for discussion tomorrow and to bring back to him. So
the working group hasn't had an opportunity to talk together about any of this.
No, we're scheduled to meet tomorrow to have a discussion about it. But your ideas are welcome.
So I just want to, in case
I have to step out in 3 minutes.
I have to go as well.
Right, Jody.
Can I just say, as far as the responsible tourism Bowen Island is part of Destination BC, also the CEDC Development Committee, and also the Vancouver Development Committee. With the CEDC, we're working on a whole education initiative, and that means visitors, but also residents traveling responsibly within the region, which might be a framework for a provincial strategy. So I really want to make sure that that's on their radar, because I have not heard about the rural economic development doing anything with tourism, but I don't want to discount them. But I think there might be some other things that they might not be aware of.
Jody. Oh, sorry. Yeah, just to add, and Jody, you raised a very good point, because yes, Jody and I both sit on Vancouver Coast Mountain Destination Management Council, and the Sea to Sky region is doing a pilot project on Destination Education Initiative, which is all about sustainable, trying to find sustainable practices and visitor, sustainable visitor management type of practices, and how to kind of manage those recreational spaces, I guess. So I feel like that is important, and we between Jody and myself, I mean, we can recommend if there's a need to. have somebody kind of share information on what that project is about. It's underway over, I guess, 2 months now, I think. And then the next project that maybe I just want to share quickly, or at least give you guys, or make you guys aware, is Sunshine Coast. So Sunshine Coast also has a project underway right now on sustainability. I just had a meeting on this earlier today, just to get a brief on it, but that could be another potential contact there if you're looking to broaden your workshops. I'll stop there now.
Yeah, I think it really matters, Jody, what you think is also really applicable to Bowen, right? Like what, if any of these strategies that you're talking about really do have an impact on Bowen, or have the potential to really address some of Bowen's tourism questions, then yes, absolutely. Let's make those recommendations that's who they invite, you know?
I think they're open to feedback at this point on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm bringing it up because I feel like maybe there hasn't been an awareness, even though I was sending out, there was a whole survey that went out a while ago and stuff. I just want to make sure. I'm sure they want to be as comprehensive and thorough as possible. I haven't had any one-on-one dialogues, or so just.
Well, what about? So here's the other thing. I mean, if tourism ends up being one of these topics for the town hall, then I would really recommend that David Van Cedars, who's I think taking that's who, he's a content kind of guy, speak with Jody directly, right?
That's what I was trying to suggest. I think you introduced Anna to David, saying speak with her directly.
I did, because I wanted her comments as part of that conversation, and I thought, why not he have them directly from her, because I won't even interpret it what I think she says, right? So yeah, I've put them together, or hopefully I've asked him to reach out to her. So yeah.
So what I'm thinking is that Jody should have a one-on-one with him, and in fact, I might just put together a nice little list of people.
Yeah, I think we should expect them to do that, to spend a little more time. Yeah. He was happy to phone Anna Donnelly. So,
are you okay with that, Jody? If I set you up?
Hear you,
Jody. You're on mute.
Sorry, I might have missed it. Who is he? Who we're talking about?
He's the content person.
Okay.
So,
okay. What's his
name? Not the person who's facilitating the focus group, but the one who's doing the writing.
Yeah, so he does have some knowledge of Bowen. He has a family member that lives here, a son actually, I think, and his name is David Van Cedars. He's an entrepreneur, and there's another guy named Vince Verlan, I think is his Verlan.
Yeah,
he's more the facilitator, right? He facilitated the focus groups, but David is really the content kind of guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
yeah, no, happy to talk.
I have to hop on another call, so my apologies
Okay.
for that. But Vaune, if you need some support in the working group, I can help there too, if that helps. I don't because it's also part of my my professional thing. So
Okay, thanks, Levin.
Here is, what is the real goal? What do you want to achieve with the whole conversation that's going to come up with the islands? Because it's that's still that unclear for me. That's also the question you raised, Jody.
Yeah.
Engaging people is one, but for what, and what do you want to realize with that?
Well,
that's for me question.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, we ran out of time at our last meeting with this group, with the consultants, but I said for the next meeting, the question I wanted them to think about was, I see there's like this spectrum, right? We can end up with sort of like a summary of what you've heard on the island and some recommendations, or we can end up with a strategy. And those are sort of two ends of the spectrum. And what I'm hoping for is to get as close to this strategy side as possible. And I know their faces kind of were like, but yeah, we sort of have that in mind. Like what do we want to end up with here? And I'm personally hoping it's going to be something really useful. And I think it's
because otherwise it's going to be a report that sits on a shelf.
Well, and this is what I do not
Another
want.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
we don't want that. No.
No.
Just in defense of reports that sit on shelves, the transportation plan is being activated, the parks plan is being activated, the climate strategy is being activated by the wonderful volunteers at our committee. Go ahead, sorry.
Cultural master plan.
Cultural master plan.
But you know what I mean.
That's,
But do you know what I mean, though, Steph? You know, it's not enough to say council should think about rezoning some areas. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this, right? Even though it's work that's done later, let's do this. Yeah.
And there's
that was one step.
Really, there are very specific needs on Bowen when you just look and assess them, and then how to build a strategy that where people see we acknowledge this and it's actionable and it's not only a plan. So I think plans are great in the long term, but this also how to make it actionable. That's the concern I hear your voice for. It's end. So that's really
So Levin, we have the working group will be provided with a table of contents at some point. So if you're interested in reviewing
please
that,
send them through. Yep, you'll be welcome. I have to hop off, otherwise I have
so
to.
much.
Thanks, Levin.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for your ideas for promotion, Jamie. I'll probably be coming to you again for more encouragement in that area. Thanks so much.
Okay, any other comments on the plan at this point?
I think the also the topic of the light industrial and manufacturing, especially the way it's worded, like it did in the focus group, will gain some very sharp attention by people who are concerned about, you know, rampant manufacturing growth on Bowen.
Well, and I keep saying I said this to David when I had him on the phone the other day. I said, you know, I think that is so contentious because people don't necessarily understand what it means. And to some people, they are making the assumption it means manufacturing, you know, loud noise, environmental, you know, damaging, whatever. And to me, it's everything from artist live work lofts to, you know, storage space for tools that contractors need.
And tech.
Workshop areas that they need, you know. We're not talking about building a cement plant here, right? So yeah, I think that needs to be very clear.
It's a tough topic. It's you know, it's hard, and we went through this in Invermere with industrial, small industrial. You know, there's benefits of both. You bring in more people into your community with families, and they're spending money. But there's a really fine balance of like, it's not a cement plant that you're bringing in. It could be a coffee production place that, you know, there's so many opportunities, but it has to be really clear to the community that it's not going to be in your face. It's not going to smell. It's not going to ruin the environment. It's a really touchy subject.
Well,
but a lot of the businesses already exist.
This is what I'm saying.
They just don't have spaces to operate in. So a lot of that what they're talking about, it's already happening on Bowen, but they're just getting kicked out of their spaces. So
no, and this is what I said to David, is that this is about supporting what we already have, because you know, Anna Donnelly at the Building Center has a waiting list of people who she has a little bit of space available for contractors to use, but not nearly enough. So it's just about supporting already what we have, so people don't have to go off the island to or they're doing it in some weird way, or you know what I mean. So yeah, it's not even really new, it's just sort of supporting what is in some ways.
I have a question. Where has all the digital business and supporting that, where's that landed? Has that been defined as a need and to support?
That was one of the focus groups. It's called the knowledge sector and digital economy.
But it's clear or whatever. Okay.
So, yeah. I just have that one email, and we've been asked to comment. So great. Yeah. And thank you for the comments so far.
Okay, anything else on the plan for now?
Well, maybe just when I'm encouraged by the response that when the topics are defined, it might be a bit easier to promote. Kylie did such a great job for the survey, and I actually got kicked out of the vaccination center on the weekend because I was I went in for my 15 minutes and then my younger son's 15 minutes and then my other younger son's 15 minutes and was just promoting. They finally gave me the hook. You gotta go. But there's nothing like really bored people sitting in a chair waiting to find out if they're gonna have a reaction to a vaccine to be like, oh yes, I want to talk about economic development. It was pretty funny. My kids were so embarrassed. I'm going from chair to chair. Anyways,
Okay,
topics lined up. If we can, if anybody's interested in whatever they can do to participate in promotion, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, so this weekend, Steph has a whole bunch of flyers printed up. Does anybody want to help hand them out?
No hands in the air. Okay.
How many people are you hoping to attend the town hall? How many people do you want in attendance?
Well, it's virtual. We can do a lot, right? We're
But
hoping
like what's ideal? Like 30, 300?
Oh no, in maybe between 1 and 200.
1 and 200. Okay.
Oh, I was thinking 100.
Okay, 100.
But
Well,
I don't even know where I got that number from.
Well, because physically, when we've had our town halls before, we've sort of had around that, right?
Sometimes more. The older ones were much better.
I can find out right now.
The town halls that were sponsored by the Health Center and by the Community Foundation in the early part of COVID, they attracted around 100, and those were electronic town halls. I think.
Yeah, I think I remember one. It was about 180 or something. It was really well attended. Yeah. Yeah.
We have 25 signed up. No, 21. Some people like to sign up multiple times. I won't name names. So far.
Okay, Jody has to go. Thanks, Jody.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Okay, regarding the link, Jamie's asking, yes, well, the link in the agenda is not simple. It's the link to Citizen Lab, but in that is the link to register. But okay, I can just give you the link to register.
If I'm going to send an email out to my board and volunteers, I just want it to be super simple.
Super simple.
But also educational, like what are they signing up for? So
why don't I just wait till we have the working group meeting tomorrow, and then I'll send you all the information at once.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, we're running over here. Oh, we just lost Jody. I guess there's no tourism. There won't be a tourism update today. Jamie, do you have an update from the Hearth?
We're business as usual. Everything's great.
Excellent. Love to hear that. Okay, how about council?
Selling art.
Good.
Selling art.
Okay.
Great. Yes.
Business as usual. Everything's business as usual. I'll report more next time.
Okay. All right. And
Unless there are questions.
what's that? Sorry?
Unless there are questions. Seeing none.
No, I don't think so.
Muttering.
The one thing I would love though, I guess this is not really related. The whole, since the Kamloops situation, I know the municipalities come out with a great statement, but I really feel like this is a time for like action, amends for real, not just apologies. And I don't know, I guess I would just say really encourage, the municipality to step up as much as possible.
Yeah.
I just think this is terrific.
Councillor Fast and I got in touch earlier this week and talked about what more might go before council on this. So I have a draft report to council that I hope will be on Monday's agenda.
Okay.
When you go through the Truth and Reconciliation report and you look at all of the various actions, there actually are relatively few that are directed specifically at local governments. There are some that are addressed to all level of government. Majority of the recommendations are aimed at regional and especially provincial and federal. So there are some things that we can do at a local government level, and that's part of what we're doing as a review right now. The Islands Trust has put together a statement, as has Metro Vancouver. They have been praised as statements. They have been criticized as not being actionable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of where we're at with the report at this point, and trying to find the actionable bits.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
We have we're partnering with BIM Rec Department to do something on Canada Day, which I know, you know, Canada Day is a little bit contentious. But having said that, we're doing something together down here in our cultural corner. So if there's any ideas of something that it's early right now to be doing, you know, a lot of action. I think we have to really think carefully about what to do. But maybe there is something really simple that we can do that creates a little bit of, I don't know, I really don't know. But if anyone has any ideas.
Are you familiar with Polkaniks?
You know, a craft.
Do you know a woman named Polkaniks on the island?
No, I don't think so, no.
She's a lovely woman. She does Indigenous relations consultation. And her father actually comes from a residential school or attended a residential school. I just know her personally, but I don't know. I just wondered if you knew who she was, because it might be somebody.
I don't know anybody.
He might
Vaune.
have some ideas. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't met any. I haven't even met you yet, Vaune. So, or Kylie, or Wendy, or God.
Yes, we have.
I haven't met any of you. When?
Oh, I don't know. Somewhere on the street.
On the street.
I'm going to see. Well, actually, I might be seeing Polkaniks this afternoon. I don't know how she'd feel about it, but all I know is she does consultation. That is her career. On Indigenous relations, and I know this has affected her greatly. So I can ask her if, I don't know, do you want, maybe I would say, you know, that the Hearth is wanting to do something. Would you be willing?
Keep it, you know,
maybe take this offline, Jamie and Vaune can.
Sure. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe anyone has any ideas? Yeah.
Okay, I'll get in touch later, Jamie. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Staff update, please.
Actually prepared one after you guys have got nothing to say, just about, had some turnover. I've got notes. We have a new finance officer, Quinn Buchanan. She's doing a great job. Our chief financial officer is leaving us at the end of the month, and there's an ad been posted for that position. We have a new emergency program coordinator named Christy. I can't pronounce her last name. She started, she's doing well. And you guys know about our, not that new anymore, but our rec manager, community services, has been doing a great job for community center and public art and other things.
What's that person's name again?
Jillian Drake. It's a staff update about staff.
Excellent, thank you. Next meeting.
So, July.
Oh, sorry, I missed other business. Any other business?
Just, could I recommend that people take a look at the island plan? It's in the agenda, and there are, what I've been doing with all of the committees I serve on is I've been drawing people's attention to the strategic plan and pointing out the sections that have or are supposed to have a direct connection with that committee. So in the island plan, the priorities that are directly related to our committee have to do with planning for the community lands, and that's where discussion of potential industrial use might be relevant. As some of you would recall in our discussions around the community lands part of lot 1, that long triangular lot that runs adjacent to the school and public works and so on, is zoned for light industrial purposes. And it would be a good idea for this committee to get their head around what the definition of light industrial is in that zoning, because it's really quite broad, and it includes all of those concerns about that Jamie brought up about, you know, don't be smelly, don't be noisy, don't be polluting, and so forth. That's embedded in the zoning at this point. So getting our head around that, I think, will be really important for when that community economic development plan comes back to this committee, and we really get down to the thinking about implementation. A4 is gain rural status, and that's where the discussion around iced tea and other funding programs is relevant, because when we get that, you know, there are certain buckets of money, buckets of opportunity that open up. And then B4 is preserve our unique island identity. And the key thing under that is the completion of the community economic development plan. And that's seen as a really integral part of maintaining, developing, protecting, you know, our island. So we're in the book, and there are some expectations around what we as a committee will accomplish this year. And maybe we could talk about it a bit more at the next meeting. I think we were going to do that with the other committees as well, just to make sure that we understood, you know, what was being asked of us. And if we kind of missed the boat, if council needed to be saying some other things or saying things differently, now's the time to bring that up, because the planning for the next island plan will be starting in September or October of this year. So we've got that opportunity to have direct input into what gets into the plan.
Okay, so can you put that a note for that's the next? Okay. Two things really quickly, Maureen. Not the whole community lands, not that whole piece is industrial zoned, right? It's just a small chunk at the end, if I remember correctly.
It's a large chunk at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are 4 pieces.
Okay. And really quickly, when is the newcomer guide coming out?
I'm not certain at this point. It sort of landed on my desk, and there were some other sort of COVID related things that threw a few curves in it. I think probably in September. Okay. And it's covered under this year's budget.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. No other comments? I say we are ready to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Kylie, I hope you enjoyed your first meeting.
Yes, thanks. I was quiet. Don't you worry. I'm going to speak a lot more next time.
Great. Okay. Thanks, everyone.